So let me give it to you raw. In this world, a man is measured by one thing: results, not effort, not dreams, not potential. Results. The evolutionary psychologist David Bass tells us in Evolution of Desire that human beings, especially women and competitive males, they respond to signals of competence and success, not intention. Society only values the utility that you provide, gentlemen, not the struggles that you endured to get there. You can cry about it, or you can even weaponize it. So let's look at the cubicle coffin. This is about part of my journey. So the fluorescent tubes above me, they droned like dying bees. Gray cubicles stretched across the office like a cemetery of ambition. Each cubicle was a coffin, each worker a ghost pretending to be alive. By day, I was a tired IT project manager, competent, reliable, and invisible. And by night, I was a man drowning in unrealized potential. I numbed myself with what Nassim Taleb calls the sucker consumption, where news cycles engineered to provoke fear, Netflix binges that softened the mind, and hyperreality that kept me docile. I was, in every sense of the word, a beta who didn't know he was better. So I was suffering from invisible competence. I mastered Gantt charts, sprint boards, and cross-functional chaos. I even dealt with manipulative vendors and narcissistic bosses. And yet, promotions slid past me like smoke through fingers. Why? Because competence without dominance is ignored. Okay? Hierarchies reward signaled competence, not silent competence. Nobody cared. Not then. So I followed the script that society feeds obedient men. It tells you get more papers. I collected certifications the way abandoned estates collect dust. I did PMP, ITIL, Prince 2, MCSD. I did all those. I even flew to Philadelphia and I crashed a CCLP exam. And I also earned a master's degree. CSSLP basically means Certified Computer Software Lifecycle Professional. So I got all these papers. Did it move the needle? Not even by a millimeter. This is normally what we call the mismatch problem in evolutionary psychology, where your environment rewards behaviors that no longer matter. Degrees are currency in a system that values political capital, not merit. So I had a moment of truth. I remember one night, the blue deathlight of the monitor reflecting my failure back at me. The battlefield of my career was strewn with broken dreams, rotting milestones, and corpses of abandoned goals. This was not the life I imagined. In the 10x rule, Grant Cardone's voice echoed in my mind. Grant Cardone says that you are either first or you are last. Gentlemen, if you're enjoying this video, take a quick moment to like, subscribe, and share. When you subscribe, You'll always get notified when I drop new content. And when you like and share, you help this channel to grow. And more importantly, you help other men to discover the tools that they need to level up. Remember, when one man rises, we all rise. Now let's get back to the video. Thunder cracked inside my skull. Was this the best version of my talent? Was this the best representation of my capacity, my life? Hell no, I thought. So I had one dream that I'd never let die. And that was to write, to speak, and to leave a legacy in words. So I began a ritual that most men will never survive. I started waking up at 3 a.m. daily. This was in 2018. I started writing and reading and publishing, just pushing and refining. Book after book, year after year. I used to publish a book every year. A few friends bought these books out of pity. The world didn't blink. Nobody cared. But I still wrote. And when discouragement came, I remembered under Erickson's research on deliberate practice. Mastery demands 10,000 hours of focused obsession. I believe this is also in Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. And so I paid the price for 4 years. Book after book, book launch after book launch. And in the 4th year, I went beast mode. I went feral. I wrote 4 books back to back. My knuckles were raw from hammering the keys. I wasn't knocking on doors anymore. I was kicking them off the hinges. And then the explosion. Unplugged hit Nairobi like a meteor. It was a bestseller from 2022 to date. It was a phenomenon. It was a movement. The world finally turned its head. And at that moment, I understood the truth that every man must swallow. Nobody cares about your struggles, gentlemen. They only care about your victory. Success is the only language that the world respects. It is the only dialect women find irresistible, and is the only currency that men bow to. Your tears, your excuses, your unmet potential, irrelevant. Win, and suddenly the world rewrites your entire biography as a genius. I remember my first book. I was so excited when I published it. And in my naivety, I approached one of the big bookshops in Nairobi. I took to them my book and I told them that I wanted them to stock it. They told me they don't deal with individual authors, they only deal with publishers. I told them, why don't you just have a look at it? They didn't even want to look at it. 4 years later, these are the same people who called me, telling me they wanted to stock my book, Unplugged. And I told them that you are the guys who chased me away. You told me don't deal with authors. What has changed? They told me that they are very sorry and there are many people asking for my book and they'd like to stock it. So, gentlemen, let's remember that many of us men, we want shortcuts. But real men don't want shortcuts. Real men want mastery. A few weeks ago, there's a young man who came to me with eyes as big as cherry. Their eyes were shining. He told me, tell me what to do. He wanted to also write a bestseller. So I told him what it takes: waking up early, going beast mode, rejection, and so on. Once I showed him the scars, the fire in his eye dimmed. So many of us want hacks. We don't want hardship. We want comfort, not conquest. We want validation, not victory. But gentlemen, mastery has rules. It has unforgiving rules. So I'm going to give you some laws of winning. The first thing is you need to pick a skill that you can bleed for. Something you're passionate about. Passion is not a feeling. It is fuel. Without it, you will quit the first time life punches you in the ribs. If you can do something without being paid, then you're passionate about it. The reason passion is important is because many times to succeed, to master something, to stand out, it requires years of consistent work without being recognized, without monetary gain. So that's the first thing. Pick a skill you can bleed for. Second thing is know how far you're willing to go. Purpose is your psychological anchor. Without it, adversity will break you. So get something that you're willing to pay a price for. I normally tell guys that there's always a price to be paid. And that takes me to the third point. Decide the price that needs to be paid and that you're willing to pay, and pay it. Most of the times, the price will come either in terms of sleep. You have to either wake up early or go to bed late. You'll have to spend some money. You'll have to lose some friends, or you're going to lose your comfort. There has to be a price to pay. Something must die for something greater to live. We normally say that there's no act of creation without destruction. The fourth thing you have to do is you have to commit yourself to mastery, not applause. You have to be outcome independent. Even when nobody's praising you, encouraging you, motivating you, patting you in the back, you must continue. Carl Newport tells us in Be So Good They Can't Ignore You that the world rewards rare and valuable skills, not dreams. The fourth thing you have to do is you have to apply your skill ruthlessly. Publish, produce, perform. Don't hold back. Don't wait for permission. You are a man, not a child. And if the world ignores you, improve until ignoring you becomes impossible. For me, Unplugged was my 7th book. And if it was not going to be the bestseller, I would have continued writing. And even after writing Unplugged, I've since written 6 more books. So you need to work very hard. Produce, perform. Don't wait for permission. So I'm going to ask you now, gentlemen, what will you win at? What skill will you make the world bow to? What mastery will you sharpen until the blade gleams? What craft will you pursue until the universe has no choice but to pay attention? Because let me tell you the truth one last time. Nobody cares until you win. So, win. Drop your thoughts, your stories, and your battles in the comment section below. And let's see who among you is ready for war. Get unplugged, and I'll see you on the next one.